Fanatics. Podcast Palz.
Hey guys, welcome. This is a video called 2016 Movie Overview. We're going to talk about what we saw, what we didn't see, and I'm joined here by people that actually have seen movies lately. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Well, my name is Jordan. What's up, everybody? I am fashionably late, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks, Matt and John, for having me. Thank you.
Of course, Steve.
Hey, everyone. My name is Tyrell. You might know me from YouTube a long time ago when I used to do it. I'm a filmmaker predominantly now. That's why you don't see me on YouTube. Got a lot of work going on, and maybe some things going on with Tim in the future with Untitled Chapter. We're trying to work on some things. We'll see what's going on. That might be my return. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Cool. Thanks for coming, dude.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Tim from Late Reviews, and it's fun to do this again. This is really awesome. Looking forward to talking. It's funny. Like, last year, I don't think I watched as many movies from this year, but this year I've watched a shitload. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Well, I was gonna say we wait for my brother to get back. I don't know what he's doing, dumbass. But oh, real quick, has anyone seen a series of unfortunate events on Netflix?
I'm watching it right now, man.
Oh, cool. How is it?
It's actually phenomenal.
Whoa.
It's really good. For a long time, to be honest, the Jim Carrey movie, the 2004 one, is pretty decent, actually.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason,
Yeah.
it didn't make any money, really. But this new one's great. Neil Patrick Harris is good. The kids that play the different roles are fantastic. It's got a great cast. The aesthetic reminds me of like Wes Anderson took like a Tim Burton pill. So it's like not overly Tim Burton-y, which can get a little bit too gaudy and over the top, but that very deliberate and static use of the frame like Wes Anderson. But it's coming together really nicely. It's hilarious, very deadpan, very, very similar to the book. So if you've read the books, you'll probably enjoy the show a lot. It's good.
I didn't read all of the books, but I read some of them. But actually, John was a huge fan of the books, and John read all the books.
Yeah, dude, I read all the books, and I read the autobiography by the writer, which was all fake, And it was it's a great franchise, or series. I really liked it.
Yeah. The only thing I remember from the books is that I bought one specifically because all the pages were all like torn and frayed. And I never read it, but I just loved that the pages were sweet.
Had cool covers, cool book edges, and just the sense of the writing was so quirky, and it was great.
Yeah, like it was one of those series. Again, I kind of read only like a bit of them. Now I wish I'd read all of them, but it's great. And a cool part about it is it's like people might want to stay away from it because it's a kid's series, but the dude who wrote it, who then later became Lemony Snicket, the pen name, he was challenged, right, because he didn't want to write kids' books because he just didn't like them. And he says, I'll write it if I can basically break every trope and do it my way and jam-pack it full of things that I want to read as a kid. And he definitely does that.
John, do you, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
I'm John, co-host with Matt, Flick Fanatics. Can't wait to chat with you guys about the year in review and movies. I love movies.
I love movies. I was just going to go over a couple bullet points that I had written down just to see everybody's take on, not necessarily the best movie of the year, but your favorite, whether it's best acting in a film or music or whatever drew you to the film to like it, as well as something that you were disappointed by in a film this year, like biggest disappointment, biggest letdown, performance, the same kind of idea.
It was an interesting year because there was a lot of hype going into this year with a lot of different films because it was a very reboot and sequel heavy year. So I think always you get a mixed bag. There's some things that blow you out of the water, and there's some things that fail miserably. And then there's other films that you hope would do better that didn't, like Star Trek, for example. So it was definitely an interesting year. And I'm just going to start it off with saying I was really looking forward to one movie that actually didn't do much for me, and that was Sully. I love Tom Hanks. I love him. I don't like Clint Eastwood, but together I thought they might be able to do something all right. But the story, the subject matter of the plane crashing the Hudson, I thought it wouldn't be enough to fill a story in an hour and a half film, and this film wasn't even an hour and a half, and I thought it was boring. I thought the dialogue was some of the worst dialogue I've ever seen. Whoever the scriptwriter was, pathetic, and how Clint Eastwood adapted that screenplay, even worse. And Tom Hanks couldn't even pull it off. And Tom Hanks is one of the best actors we have today.
Yeah.
And he couldn't pull it off. And the side stories and the kind of comedic input they tried to do it in to relieve some of the tension didn't work, and it just felt really drawn out. And I'm really disappointed because Sully could have been a good film, and they were trying to make it an Oscar bait piece, and I don't think it's going to work.
I didn't see it, but if it's anything like American Sniper, which I also didn't like, it was just he just didn't. It's like Clint Eastwood just was trying to do something that could have worked, but he missed the point, or like he glanced at the script, never like memorized it, like that whole like directorial thing. And it might just be the fact that it's based on true events, and sometimes it's like if he blurred the line of like going off the true event, people will bitch. So he tried going too close to it, but then it's just boring.
Well, yeah, because he had to introduce secondary storylines and subplots because there wasn't enough for just Tom Hanks' character. So the other characters you don't care enough about, and their storylines aren't important, and you probably would prefer to get back to Tom Hanks, but there wasn't enough there for an entire film. That should have probably been like, I don't know, maybe like a 2-part TV thing or something like that. I know there was a documentary.
Yeah, it sounds a lot to me like it would be a good Lifetime movie network.
Yeah, it was that was very TV. It was a very TV movie down to the cinematography and everything.
Dang,
I think
that's disappointing.
I'll catch flack for it because it's actually critically well liked, but I was really disappointed, man. I was really disappointed. I don't recommend it.
I enjoy Clint Eastwood as a director. I like Tom Hanks is one of the best in the business, so I was actually looking forward to it. Actually, that's the first review that like I've heard that was like negative. Like nobody said it was a great movie, but a lot of people said that it was good. You know, it was a good watch. So that's interesting. I haven't gotten around to see it though. I haven't seen it yet.
But Jordan, do you have any disappointments of the year since we're kind of in that vein right now?
I do. And you thought you were gonna get slack for yours? Wait till you hear this. By far the biggest. I was looking forward to a lot of things this year. A lot of things disappointed me, but one in particular that I've actually grown to dislike the film outside of its third act, and that is Rogue One.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Hey, let's hear it.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to get on a rant because I did the other night to my uncle, and like he got tired of it. But the thing I love most about it is the characters, the journey, and my interest with those characters, following their journey throughout the entire film. I want to see them succeed. I want to see what they have in store for me. And in Rogue One, I got none of that. Like the first 2 acts of Rogue One bored the living hell out of me. I didn't care about the characters. I knew where the story was going, and the film didn't do enough for me to keep me interested because I knew where the story was going. And, you know, when they first announced Rogue One, I actually said that, but the first trailer came out, and I was like, okay, you got me. The trailer looks really good. But that was my worry going into Rogue One at the very beginning when they announced it, is that it was a story that I knew and I was very familiar with. So you would really have to sell me on the characters, and Rogue One just didn't for me. I know a lot of people like K2SO, the robot. I know a lot of people like Cassian. If you did, awesome. I'm happy you did, but the characters fell flat. Not just the characters, but I don't think it stands on its own at all. I know a lot of people think it does, but outside of the spoilers, by the way, can we talk spoilers?
Yeah, we could talk spoilers, yeah.
Outside of the Darth Vader scene, and which didn't really still add to New Hope, although it was just so great to see that scene. But the only thing to me that added to New Hope was Mads Mikkelsen's character explaining how it was so easy to blow up the Death Star. Which I'll give it that, the movie credit. That was really cool. I really like that. But outside of that, to me, the movie does not stand on its own at all. The characters are never referenced again in the Star Wars, in the movies, in the saga. Like, I haven't read the novels. I heard Jyn Erso was like fleshed out. I'm going by the film, and I didn't care about Jyn Erso. I didn't care enough about the story, and I just don't think it stands on its own. And I was bored. I just was not.
Yeah.
So that's.
You're right about one thing. A lot of people have been using this one thing for people that don't like it, and I think it's a stupid argument that, oh yeah, there's a book, I forget what it's called, that's supposed to go along with it, and it fleshes out the characters. And I'm like, I don't care that there's a book that fleshes out. That's great, and I love reading the Star Wars books, but you shouldn't have to watch a movie and read a book to understand. It's the same with the ultimate cuts and stuff like that, or getting, you know, expansion packs for games and things like that. Shouldn't be how it is. So I definitely understand that criticism. The characters did feel muddled a little bit. Like, some of them had some cool moments, and the acting was stellar. Like Ben Mendelsohn, Mads Mikkelsen, Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, etc. They were all good actors.
Don't forget Donnie Yen.
Yeah, Donnie Yen, of course, and even Forrest Whitaker. But the thing is, I think the hard part that people got wrapped around in is because the characters are going to die. There's no way that they can live.
Right.
So how do you tame that beast? You know, something bad's going to happen then. How do you tame it?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that they struggled with.
Right. And I do think, like what you were saying, Jordan, like it plays way more into if you've seen episode 4 more than anything. This is like, I loved Rogue One, but on its own merits, detached from everything else, you know, it's a cool setup, but it's a massive setup for episode 4. And I think you get more out of the movie if you've seen episode 4. So if you were like a fresh newcomer that's never seen Star Wars, or maybe you saw episode 7 and not the old episode 4, 5, 6, I think they'd not like it as much, because as a movie, you know, it plays so heavily into the other Star Wars movies to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like you have an unpopular opinion, but I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've seen episode 4. I watched it.
Right.
Last time I saw it was like 4 months ago. I really, it's not my favorite Star Wars movie.
Right.
I've seen it many times, and I honestly, maybe because like every scene was like, it really should have just called a fan service the movie, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but when every other scene is, oh, hey, here's a prequel nod, here's the guy that brings Leia to the and then he even says in the thing, I forgot the character's name, but he even says, oh, she's really trustworthy. He says
right.
like, oh, you're obviously going to see Leia. We know that.
Right, yeah.
We understand this.
And episode 7 did that a lot too, with just references and nods to other ones.
The one thing I'll say, though, about Rogue One over Force Awakens, and I think I do still enjoy Force Awakens more, is that I think Rogue One was wholly more original from world building perspective. New planets that didn't look like anything we'd seen before necessarily, where Force Awakens was essentially remock-ups of our favorite and most beloved planets. The characters, we didn't have a Jedi for once, or people wielding lightsabers, and I think they made, though it did get muddled with some of them, they did make some compelling steps towards some cool characters that weren't Jedi. And I think that I actually personally believe that they did pretty well with Tarkin and things like that. I know people were a little bit antsy about that, but I get it.
The CG. Yeah. No, I thought that was good too. Like it's I saw it in IMAX, so it was kind of more noticeable because it's blown up even more, but it was still super, super convincing. And I think when you first see it, it takes you out of it, but he's in it a lot in a few scenes, and you get used to it pretty quickly.
And when you think about all of the hours of CGI work and compositing that went into that, I think that's a pretty huge achievement. I mean, he looks freaking incredible for a dude that's dead. I mean,
and it's going to get better, dude. It's going to get better and better as these next couple years go on. So it was a good step. It was a good evolution.
The only thing I wish was, like, it's actually my #1 movie. Like, you know, but I really enjoyed it because I like Star Wars. But the one thing that pissed me off the most, and that I feel like really cheated, that makes me want to put it lower on my list, is the fact that we didn't get the movie we were promised. And I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube that explain what could have happened despite the reshoots. And it sounds like a way more convincing and way more entertaining movie than what we were given. And it just kind of sucks. Like,
Are you talking
Disney
about?
should be ashamed of themselves.
Can you explain? Because I kind of heard about that, but I didn't look up into it. So like reshoots.
There's supposed to be a scene like spoiler as well. Jin isn't supposed to beam the documents up through the thing.
Oh.
She goes there, and then a TIE fighter comes up and kind of like that. So she has to go down onto the beach and run and give it up to something else. I think it goes to the ship, because there's the scene of the TIE fighter stopping her, which we never got to see, and then there's also a scene of Ben Mendelsohn walking through all of the chaos on the beach.
Yeah, I remember.
I think she was supposed to face him down there,
down on the beach.
There's
There's other things I noticed from that first trailer that were cut. In terms of like Forrest Whitaker's character, when he's in his place, he doesn't have all the crazy hair and the beard. He's got the short look, and there's a few things I'm just like, oh man, what the heck happened there?
They added the Darth Vader stuff in the reshoots too.
Yeah, I was about to say that's pretty weird to hear that, but I think it was worth doing. You know, it was one of the most memorable parts of the movie for me, at least.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if we could go on, if you guys don't mind, just because there was a lot of movies this year. Tim, go ahead.
There's a really particularly like, but to answer your question of like one I was really looking forward to that really just let me down was Everybody Wants Some, the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. It's just proof that maybe Dazed and Confused should just be left alone, because this movie was like not fun. The characters were not funny. They're not likable. They were too much the same. And the thing about Dazed and Confused is like every character is their own different person that everyone who watches it can identify with each different character depending on who you are. And Everybody Wants Them was just like, it was lame. That's all it was.
So I'll say, go ahead.
It was uninspired. That's it.
Damn.
I agree with everything you just said. That's literally like what I said in because I did like a disappointing movies of the year list, and that was on it. And I agree with everything you just said. The characters were just so boring and so unfunny. And the new guy comes in and he's supposed to be like this so different. And I'm not saying like he should have been an outcast, but literally he's there at the very beginning, and then the next scene, it's like they've been friends forever, but they're the same person. They're not fun.
I think I liked it better than you guys, but one thing I can say about Richard Linklater, especially about this movie, is I think that this movie is hard for a guy like him to make at this point in his life, because, and it happens to multiple directors. They're making these magnum opuses about like essentially their life or things that were influenced by what they grew up with when they're young. So it informs their directing more. I'd say even the same about Tarantino. They're free and loaded. They're kind of detached from reality. And when they try to revisit similar themes to what they did when they were young,
they're not there anymore.
It feels slightly falsified, or like they're trying to pull for it more. And I think that is very true of somebody like Richard Linklater when he's doing a film like this. You know what I mean? You should leave it to the young kids.
Talking about girls and like fucking, like just you're old.
You're old, man. Yeah, give it up. I did not see Everybody Wants Some. I wanted to, but it like didn't even come to my theater, so I was a little bummed. But still on my watch list to watch at home.
Yeah, I still want to see it as well, just because I missed it, and I've seen it at the video store to rent, and I'm thinking I should just to check it out. But John, did you have a disappointed of the year? Disappointment?
It's kind of weird. Like I was telling you guys earlier before the thing started, I didn't see a whole lot of movies. But yeah, there's only like one movie that I truly like absolutely hated with a passion, and that was Zoolander 2. But I wasn't very much looking forward to that. I mean, you know, going back to the original, I was young. It's a stupid comedy, whatever. I was not expecting anything out of the sequel. But one that I was disappointed in that I was looking forward to is X-Men Apocalypse. I like Bryan Singer as a director. I like the last 2 X-Men films that were made, one of which was directed by Bryan Singer. And I went into Apocalypse and I walked out just completely like disappointed and just let down. Like, and I know it's not like the best example, but I was expecting good things. And
Well, I mean, that was on my list too. Like, I agree.
yeah, I mean, there's like one good part in that whole movie, and the rest of it, I don't know. It was just so. It felt so different from any other like Bryan Singer movie. I'm like, what's going on here? It's hard to pinpoint it, but it was just not good to me. I mean, I know some people liked it, but I just did not enjoy it.
Yeah,
I feel like
go on.
I feel like Singer needs to give it up. Like, he's had his time with the X-Men franchise, and it's time to move on. Like, I haven't seen it because I didn't like the trailer. Like, I love Oscar Isaac, and I was tempted to see it because of that alone, but it didn't end up pulling me in.
Yeah.
Not worth it. It's not like.
I think that, I'll check it out. Like, the thing about Singer is, and all these directors, even Snyder, like, they're good to a lot of people and they're popular amongst a lot of people, but there is such thing as franchise fatigue, and there is such thing as taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture. And I think a lot of these directors get sucked in. I think it's the same about Michael Bay and the Transformer films. I think they do better with a new director that has a fresh take on these things. So I think that Singer needs to take a step back, do some other movies, leave it alone forever. I know it's a good paycheck, but he'll get paid to do other things.
Do you think? Do you think that's going to happen with the Russo brothers with Marvel? Because they're going to be doing Avengers 3. They've already done.
Of course.
Captain
It happened.
I hope not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they did Winter Soldier. They did Civil War. They're going to do Avengers 3. If they're doing two sequels of those, I don't know. But
it happens. Yeah, I mean, it's a juggernaut, dude. It's a fucking juggernaut.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I'm looking at my Letterboxd scores right here. I got X-Men Apocalypse is at a 2.5. Doctor Strange is at a 2.5. Gods of Egypt is at a 3. I don't know. Something's wrong here, because I had more fun by the Alex Proyas, dude that did Crow. Good job on Gods of Egypt, best of the year for sure.
I have X-Men Apocalypse lower than Standoff.
Yeah, no, I did too. Wow. I do too. I mean, that says something.
Let me look at
lower than Yoga Hosers for me.
Well, I will say, and I'm just joking. Gods of Egypt. I had a fun time with it, but I'm not gonna say it's a great movie or anything like that. But dude, Standoff, for what it is, I will say I will defend that movie at a 3.5 out of 5, because Standoff, they did a good job with their budget and their location. And they got Thomas Jane to play a great redneck. It was awesome.
It was a very low budget movie, and it was solid. It was solid for what it was. Yeah. Going into an X-Men movie, and I don't know. Yeah.
I've had many opportunities in Best Buy where I'm like, you know what? I kind of just feel like picking up. Well, mainly I want to pick up X-Men Apocalypse because the Blu-ray has the X on it. Up top.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's pretty sweet. But then I'm like, you know what? I'll never watch this ever again. So, yeah.
So,
Matt, did you have
disappointment? I'm looking here. I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed most movies I saw this year, but I was a little let down by the BFG. I thought was okay. I was kind of excited because I was hoping Spielberg would it would be like a nostalgic, fun movie, but I didn't even have like half the fun that I had watching like any of his other movies. I just thought it seemed so like he was calling in that movie, that whole thing. It seemed very lazy to me.
Yeah, man. Look at his schedule, dude. He's making like 5 movies at once.
Right?
It doesn't work. He's also like 70 plus years old.
It's gonna take effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it does. And other than that, I mean, I was a little bit let down by this movie called Siren Song, but it's also called It's got 3 names, I believe. I'm gonna find out. It's Siren Song. It's with C. Thomas Howell, if you remember him from The Outsiders way back when. It looks like it's also called #Cannibal Island.
Wow.
It was hard.
Hashtag as a title. That's crazy.
It was hard to get through. But yeah, so I watched that as well. Oh, actually, I was pretty disappointed by Passengers. That's actually my biggest disappointment of the
Wait,
year.
you saw Passengers?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, I heard it was pretty disappointing from a lot of people.
It's
That'll
sort
be
of
on Netflix.
it's I don't know. It's an odd one. It's a little different, you know. It's
Yeah.
but
I don't like the director, man. The guy who directed it, he did The Imitation Game too. I think he's a mediocre director,
Mhm.
I would agree.
and I think it was a title that they were just banking on the fact that they had Chris Pratt and Jennifer
Yeah.
Lawrence, these two likable, like, haha, we're best buds.
Yeah.
And it did, and it was over marketed. I was talking to my girlfriend, and she was saying there was so much marketing that something's fishy here. You know, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And it did. Not to mention, I haven't seen it, but I hear like the actual when you start breaking down the story,
Yes.
Chris Pratt's character is like the biggest creep ever.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
let
I've
me
been hearing that
actually let me talk about that.
Okay, spoilers for anyone watching that doesn't want Passengers to be spoiled.
I won't go too into it, but I will say that movie promotes a lot of weird shit, like stuff that like should not happen in 2016. Yet alone like 50 years from now or whenever that movie takes
Oh,
place.
jeez.
And I was kind of like, they're making this guy out to be the main character, but he's like a total weirdo. Like it was so bizarre. And then she like kind of figures out that, and then about 20 minutes later, no problem, it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's
And I
the
will say-
neckbeard mentality 2016.
No, I was gonna say though, my big complaint though is they need to play new characters. I feel like they are so locked into like this.
Typecasted.
In a way, I
Yeah.
guess so. That's what kind of is. But
Doesn't Chris
we could.
Pratt
Oh, what's up?
play him? He's wearing Chris Pratt plays Chris Pratt's skin. Like he literally just is him. And
Yeah.
And Jennifer Lawrence is the same way. She does the exact same tricks in every single movie. Her renaissance is over.
Yeah.
The thing about Chris
kinda-
Pratt is he was never good. It was just that he was playing a character
Likeable.
that was likable in Guardians of the Galaxy that propelled him to stardom because it made way more than it thought it was going to. That's why Chris Pratt was the star, because it's like, we'll see if this works, but whatever. It made him a star. And this is a dude that like got into acting because he's like, I'm poor and broke and I kind of want to do this. And he's funny, but like he's not even like a Chris Pine, who's actually a really good actor,
Yeah.
or something like that. He's simply just a pretty boy that happens to be like really likable on the side.
Mhm.
But like it's just, yeah, and it's never going to be different. He's going to play these roles for another couple years and make his money, and then he'll go back to doing comedy and stuff, and that'll be it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Man. I gotta disagree with you on Chris Pratt, big time. Like I see where you're coming from. I do, but I think he's gonna like Chris Pine. Just in my eyes, this year with High Water, he just became great. Like everything before that, he was Chris Pine in like literally everything that I've seen. But he was amazing in Hell or High Water, and I think God has that. I really do, because he was like one of the few things that I really liked about Jurassic World, whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, Chris Pratt in
Yeah.
Jurassic World.
Yeah, Chris Pratt was by far one of the best things about that movie, and reason why I enjoyed it as much as I did. And Guardians, dude, nobody knew what the hell Guardians was, and he was the lead of that, and he took that franchise, and to me, it was like a Star Wars cousin, and he was like a Han Solo type of character, and I thought he pulled it off really well.
He was way better on Parks and Rec. Like that's to me, like that's the Chris Pratt. Like when we all fell in love with him.
And that also had to do with really good writing. That show had really good writers.
Yeah, like look, Chris Pratt did The Magnificent Seven. He played himself in The Magnificent Seven.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Passengers, shit. His next coming up movie is Guardians of the Galaxies. Wow, we're playing the same character again. Avengers: Infinity War. Wow, we're playing the same character again. Jurassic World 2.
Oh.
Wow, even more. Like
Captain Star-Lord Dinosaur.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
So like, if he
No,
maybe does something that's like different and outside that sphere, I might like like, I'm not writing him off, but
Yeah.
I'm not really prepared to say he's that good. Where Chris Pine, he's slowly been making it. Z for Zachariah is good.
Oh, yeah.
He does Kirk really well, and now with Hell or High Water, I think the dude's A+.
And he's gonna be in Wonder Woman in June.
Chris Pine's the
More
shit.
serious role. Chris, what'd you say?
Chris Pine's the shit. I never really noticed him
Yeah.
until I watched Stretch with Patrick Wilson. Dude,
Oh yeah.
he is wild. I like that he does like wild, crazy shit, but then he'll also do like really serious stuff like Hell or High Water. Like
Yeah.
that
He was-
Finest Hours, like he was all right. He's the best part of that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was also in What Hot American Summer, the Netflix
Yes, he was.
show.
Yes.
Arguably
Dude,
the best part of that
dude.
show.
Dude, do you guys know what's happening
Yeah.
with the season 10 years later? The Wet
Yeah.
Hot
All right.
Jai Courtney, dude. It's happening.
What?
What?
He's gonna
Yeah.
be in it?
Go check IMDb. His name's Garth.
Garth. Yeah, I'm excited for that new season.
Wait, how
Chris
American
Pine
Pie?
was also the best part in Into the Woods. He was like the
Oh,
Prince Charming in that. And he was fucking
yeah.
hilarious. He was
Yeah.
good. And that
Yes.
movie sucked so
Yeah.
hard.
I was going to ask if you guys wanted to talk about some of your favorite experiences at the movies this year.
Okay.
Wow.
Whoever
I
wants
got
to
one.
start, you got the floor.
Best experience or best like film, like your number one?
Either or.
Best experience this year was for me was the opening night of Civil War. That was the best experience. But the best movie of the year by far for me is Hacksaw Ridge. That for me personally, Hacksaw Ridge, like I felt so many emotions while watching that movie. Mel Gibson, god damn, that dude could direct a movie. That third,
Hacksaw Ridge was great, man.
oh man, that third act, my eyes were watery the entire third act. Like like I was waiting for it to stop at some point, and it just like it kind of did between the scene with Luke Bracey and Andrew Garfield for like 5 minutes, and then we're right back into it, and my heart was pounding the whole time. And even the story before that, I was so invested in the dude. I knew really nothing about it other than that it was a true story, but I was so invested in his story, and I was like behind him all the way.
Mhm.
Great acting. Vince Vaughn cracked me up that entire movie. He was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
When you called that dude Ghoul, I died laughing. So good. So yeah, for me, Hacksaw Ridge takes it. Like I love it.
Nice. Dude, nice.
Garfield proved to me that he was actually good. I didn't think Garfield was that good before this movie, and I was really impressed by his performance. I thought it was A+. And Mel Gibson, I'm always rooting for Mel because my whole feeling with Hollywood and stuff is they like to really pick on certain people for making mistakes and not
Mhm.
pick on other people who make just as bad or worse mistakes. And
Yeah.
Mel Gibson actually had a lot of talent, and not to forgive what he did, but I think if he's willing to do it, he deserves to go for it. And he directed a good movie. The first act I thought was really cheesy and corny, and I was like, where are we going with this? Like, I'm not huge into these huge religious overtones or everything, but then it kicked in, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And on a small budget, it was even more impressive.
Mhm. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Matt and I saw that late, very late. We went to like a 11 p.m. showing, like well after the fact it's been out.
Got
It was
out
kind
at
of-
like 2 or 3 in the morning or something.
Yeah, it was very late, but it was very good. Like you were saying, Jordan, very emotional. It hit all the the right points, right spots for emotion. I agree with Tyrell. I thought the beginning was like very hokey, like kind of the children acting and kind of the pacing of it was so fast, and I'm like, what is happening right now? And it's kind of like like hitting all the beats of like but once like the second act kicked in, you kind of started, okay, you're into the relationship that him and the girl had, and Mel directed the hell out of it, and Garfield was really good in it. And yeah, it's very effective. It's just the war. They had really good, effects, and it was great.
I
Yeah.
didn't stay in. I don't think it stayed in theaters too long because like I really want to see it, but I didn't get around to seeing it, and now it's nowhere to be found. So I got to wait
Yeah.
till it goes on.
It did make money, though. It came out with Allied, and it fucking owned Allied, dude.
Yeah,
It
Allied
destroyed
was the
Allied.
one that was out of theaters quicker.
I
Yeah,
wanna see
because
that too.
because
Hacksaw is
this movie, It plays to an old demographic. Like, it's a good movie, and I'd recommend if you're 20 or if you're 14, whatever, go see it. But like, old people like war movies a lot. And this was going against Allied, and word of mouth came out that Allied didn't do that great, and Hacksaw Ridge was actually like a really cool dark horse. And my theater was packed for it, dude. And it was like kind of like, a lot of people thought it was an afterthought, but it was packed and it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, it's one of those movies. It reminds me of why I really like war films, because it's just those kinds of movies. They have like such potential to be really powerful films that make you not only reflect on other people's situations, but makes you respect what a lot of other people have done. And I was amazed by Hacksaw Ridge the whole time. I mean, yeah, the beginning, like you guys were saying, it's a little like this and that with the love and then the kids in the beginning. But like, I was going to say in the beginning too with the, was it like a brick or a rock or something? I mean, I mean, for being like the type of tone that was in the beginning, I was genuinely thrown off by that and really worried. Like, it instantly made me go like, oh my God, this movie, I can tell is going to get really dark. And
I was like,
really heavy.
That's why he doesn't kill. Oh my God. Like, it's such a dark part of this movie.
Why we get behind it is it's because it's about the human condition. So like, we can all get behind that, about like key events about human existence. Like, you know, we probably all haven't fought in war and we've never experienced anything like that, but we understand because on a base level, we understand people's emotions and relationships and fear and things like that. So like, that's what makes a good movie. And it worked because I've never been in a situation like that, and I hope to never be in a situation like that. But like, I felt like I was in the skin of the character, you know?
It's in my top 10 of the year.
Cool. I mean, yeah, with that said, does anybody else want to take over for favorite experience or film of the year?
I got one.
Cool.
I think I'm going to start with one, but it's not my actual one. Like, but I think it's one that a lot of us had seen. One of my favorites, even though it's my number 4, is Edge of 17. That was just so enjoyable. And I can't, like, the minute it ended, I was like, I can't wait for this to come out on Blu-ray. Like, I have this like Adventureland where it hits you like we're all around the same age, and like it hits you in those exact feelings. But actually, the one I really want to talk about is a movie called Don't Think Twice. Have you guys seen that?
No.
I'll just go pretty brief on this one. This is with a bunch of comedians. It's got the girl Britta from Community. It's got Michael Keegan Key. It's got Chris Gethard. It's got Kate McCucci from Garfunkel and Oates. It's about like a improv comedy troupe, and basically like what happens when you turn 30. Like, your life kind of deteriorates a little bit, and like everyone's kind of set back in their own ways, and one of them gets famous, and then the movie's about how they all cope with that. And guys, like, you have to see this movie. It didn't make a big stink, but it's definitely one of the better dramas. It really hits you hard, and it's on. It's pretty cheap. Highly suggested.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a reflection of the world we live in today. One movie I want to talk about. It's not my number 1.
That's dark, Tyrell.
Yeah, I know. I have a couple. Moonlight was really good. It's a really powerful film. Really cool visceral cinematography. I'd check it out. Sing Street is the most underrated gem of the year.
Dude, I love Sing Street. Oh man, go ahead.
John Carney makes great films. I know Tim loves Begin Again.
Oh yeah,
he did Once. This is like, if you've ever seen the film The Commitments, this is like a modern day version of The Commitments. Irish kids trying to make like a 80s new wave like synth pop band like Duran Duran. Cool romance.
It's on Netflix.
It's cool.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's cool as fuck. Arrival was probably one of the most visceral experiences I've ever had in the theater, but Denis Villeneuve always does that. You're on the edge of your seat. A very telling story. Another great reflection of the world we live in today, and actually a positive message of communication and understanding and things like that. I check it out. Bradford Young is the cinematographer. He's probably one of the best cinematographers today. But the number 1 movie for me, both in theater experience and just overall, I've seen it 3 times in theaters. I want to see it again. It's La La Land. Extremely emotional. I'm not a huge musical person, but I was extremely emotional in this theater. It's very telling for a lot of creative individuals about people moving to LA, but just about people being creative and going after their dreams, and the bittersweet reality that it has and the toll it can take on personal relationships. It's got really good acting. Emma Stone is phenomenal. Ryan Gosling is really subtle and brilliant, like he always is, with really quick, witty jokes. J.K. Simmons makes a great cameo. Impeccable cinematography. Damien Chazelle is the guy to look for today. And lastly on it, I know a lot of people go in and come out being like, okay, like Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, they're not the best dancers or singers. That's the fucking point. They're not supposed to be the best singers. They're not supposed to be the best dancers. That's part of the message that the film is trying to portray. They leave the screw-ups in there. Everything's in one take all the time. They do oneers for pretty much everything, so they leave the mistakes in. Ryan Gosling learned how to play the fucking piano. There's no hand doubles in this, and he's impeccable. And Emma Stone, I'm pretty sure, sang almost the entire film live. So there's a lot of great technical achievements and creative achievements, and you should check out La La Land, even if you don't like musicals. It's really a really fucking good film.
Tyrell, you officially got me hyped, man.
As someone who really wants to be in the film industry, or not just the film, just any kind of industry like that, and like move away from home, there's consequences. Like there's not consequences, the wrong word, but there's stuff, like not everything is going to go your way, and some things might work out, but other things you might lose. And it's just a great movie. And Emma Stone, I'm in love with her. Can I just marry her? Like, the most she's like the most star actress ever. I could watch her, just her. I could watch a movie with just her for 2 hours, and I'd be perfectly content. Ross has improved even with this and The Nice Guys, which is really underrated. I think that he proved that he's a great comedic actor. Like he has those jokes. He's so funny, and J.K. Simmons was very funny. He even danced a little bit, like danced for like a split second, and it was great.
It blends romanticism.
Oh man,
blends romantic. Yeah, like you get this feel of the old style musical, and everything's light and cheery. But then every so often, when you're getting sucked into that, just sugar plum fairies and rainbows, it'll just fucking tear you out. It'll tear you out back into reality, and you'll be like, fuck, this it's so true. It's so goddamn true. It's a good balance, and you got to forgive it in certain aspects, you got to love it in other aspects, and at a certain point, like after the beginning, in the middle, it's not really even a musical anymore. It's like just a straight up acting piece. They improv a lot, and it just, you can tell because it's really well done, and it's like pure emotion pouring out. The one thing I would say that's bad about this film, and it's not even bad, it just feels like it was kind of a little bit shoehorned in, is the John Legend music video, basically, in the middle of the movie.
Okay, that was, yes, I agree with that. Like that scene, because that scene played no, like, again, not getting into spoilers or anything, but there's a thing that Ryan Gosling does that he has to agree to join this band, John Legend's band. And during this music video, well, it's a concert, but it feels like a music video. And he does something that John Legend's character should have been mad at, and like nobody did anything like about. It's hard to explain it, but he did something out of character in that moment, and nobody addressed it at all. Like, and I thought to myself, like, you shouldn't be doing this right now, but everybody loves it, including John Legend. I thought that. So,
is there like a hot link in the bottom right to like John Legend's new album or something? While it's playing, are they like, here, check this out?
Actually, it came for free on your iPhone, I think.
Shazam it.
When you left, everyone holds their phone up. It's actually number 14 on my list.
Whoa.
It's because, look, Damien Chazelle is such a good director that this movie did not need to be a musical. And I think it's respectable that he tried making a modern day musical that captured the classics, but whenever there is drama and dialogue, I was sucked in, and it seemed to always get broken by the musical parts. And I almost want a director's cut where you can skip all the music, except for Emma Stone's audition, which was phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh,
that was some Anne Hathaway shit.
I really dug the opening number too. I like that.
Check out Guy and Madeline on a Park Bench, Tim. It's essentially what Damien Chazelle wanted to do with La La Land back in the day when he didn't have the money or the real push, and it's essentially the precursor to La La Land and what he wanted La La Land to be. I'd check it out. Find it like a torrent or something, or find it online. Maybe you can find a DVD. But Guy and Madeline on a Park Bench was his first film, and that's what they tried to do. And it's basically without all the musical stuff, and I think you'd like it.
So, who's next for favorite so far of the year? Who wants to go?
I think it's just you and me, Matt.
Oh, you can go first. I'll go last. I don't have as much as you guys.
So I'm gonna kind of mimic Tyrell. I loved Arrival. Everything he said, ditto. It messes with story structure, and it does have a very positive message. And yeah, the cinematography was probably my favorite out of the whole year, at least from what I've seen so far.
Me too. Me too.
I'm gonna throw in for best experiences, Kubo and the Two Strings, because it was during Chicago Comic-Con, and Tim was from New York in town, so that was very cool to see a movie with him.
Even though I didn't like it.
Even though I didn't like it, it's okay. It's still a fun time, and it was very hype, during Comic-Con. And my other best experience going to the movies was, you guys are going to hate me, but Batman v Superman, baby. I saw that, opening night in IMAX.
Number 3.
We have one of the IMAX theaters in our state is like one of the true IMAX theaters in terms of the aspect ratio, screen size, and the sound system. There's a lot of theaters that have IMAX, but it's not technically like the right specifications. So when we saw that opening night, it was just a really cool experience seeing a lot of that stuff in IMAX on the big screen. And Hell or High Water was another one of my favorites.
Nice.
I love that movie.
Batman vs Superman is my number 3 movie. Like, it's just an awesome, huge movie. It's huge.
I think the thing,
You sound like Donald Trump, dude.
It's huge. Despite its shortcomings with, obviously the theatrical cut was way worse than the ultimate cut, the original cut. But despite its shortcomings with some of its poor characterization and some of the narrative, not all being cohesive, especially in the theatrical cut, I think you got some of the best action and visual effects in a comic book movie that we've seen, at least in a long time. And for that, I think it's, commendable.
Yeah, well,
For sure.
I really do think the visuals and the action sequences save, like, not the only thing that saves it for me, but it was great. Like, there's great moments in BVS for me, and that's one of them.
Right. It had really good cinematography too. Larry Fong's a good cinematography.
And
Hell or High Water. You got to talk about that.
So
That's a simple story, man.
I know.
It's really good. On multiple layers.
When I saw that, I saw it by myself. Theater was not that busy. It was kind of small, like, release by us. But I think what sucked me in was especially the beginning, the way it opens. And from there, you're just thrown into it. And the story naturally progresses. There's not a lot of info dumps. There's not a lot of expositions. And I appreciate that so much because nothing makes me more annoyed watching a movie than, like, all right, here's your exposition. Here's your info. This is what's happening. And it's like, okay, just tell it through visual story. That's what filmmaking's about. We're watching it. We can learn. And I thought just the relationship between the two brothers and the sheriff, Jeff Bridges, and his partner, and the way that it was just building toward this climax that was so satisfying, and it had such emotional weight to it. I loved it. I don't know. Like, I don't want to talk too much about it because I really don't want to spoil it for people that haven't seen it. I just say go out and watch it, and you won't regret
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
The part I want to talk about is the ending, and I can't.
Right, we can't.
Yeah.
Can't talk spoilers.
Matt, you will be certainly satisfied with it.
I think it's telling of, like, a lot of of what people feel like right now in America. Like it's very, I think it's very telling of like the average person, like the working adult, and how they feel like they're constantly getting fucked over in some way by something that seems to be uncontrollable.
Right.
And it seems that you have to do this crazy thing, or the crazy thing these two brothers do, in order to get any sort of satisfaction or feel like you got a fair deal somehow.
Right. Yeah.
And that it's pretty wild to think about it like that way, but that's definitely how it's coming across. And Taylor Sheridan, the dude who wrote it, he wrote Sicario, he wrote this. This dude is a writer to keep on your radar.
Mm-hmm.
I really I think in that category this year of the Oscars, it's going to be really tight. So I don't know if it will, but it better get a best screenplay nod. I mean, dude, it was so great, and the ending was the best scene in the movie. Like the final scene was so fucking satisfying. But the script does such a great way of telling these characters and fleshing them out and seeing the back and forth between all of them. By the end of the climax, I didn't want anybody to lose. I honestly didn't. I wanted everybody to just somehow get a win-win scenario. And it was really, really great. And Chris Pine was great. Ben Foster better get nominated. I know Jeff Bridges got nominated for Golden Globes, but I honestly thought Ben Foster was better.
I think they're going to overlook him.
Yeah, I do too.
Ben Foster.
I mean, it stinks, but I think that this movie is going to get overlooked for a lot of categories. Like, I thought the cinematography was very good. I don't think it'll get nominated. I thought the screenplay was good. I'm hoping that's the one I'm hoping for, but I don't know. Like, the Academy's really, pick and choosy.
Yeah, because it's a tight race. I saw with the DGA nominees went up not too long ago, like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
all the best.
It's an indie too, man. It's an indie, so they have not always, because like Whiplash did pretty well and stuff like that. But like it's all about the dollar bills and the campaign coming from behind, and the politics
of care packages that you send the Academy. Yeah, it's all about
exactly. So
yeah, it sounds like Deadpool's gonna fucking win everything.
Oh god,
I love Deadpool, but my god, if he gets nominated, even if he gets nominated for anything, I'm just gonna give up on the Oscars ever.
I agree.
Cute and it's silly, and it's not funny if it wins anything.
It's more telling of the week, how weak the crop of movies were for this year. But I've seriously contemplated not watching the Oscars ever again if Deadpool gets nominated, because to me it loses all credibility if Deadpool is nominated. Not because you can't enjoy or like Deadpool, but
the fact that was picked over many other ones that should be.
Yeah. Well, right off the bat, I mean, I'm not trying to be real harsh on it, but like the CGI from Deadpool compared to like all of the other comic book movies of the year, it's like one of the lower end ones. Like that and X-Men Apocalypse had like the worst CGI.
Granted, Deadpool had the lowest budget, but I do think it's very strange, at least to me. I saw the short list for the Oscars for visual effects, and you had BVS, Batman v Superman, in there, and you had like Doctor Strange, all the comic book ones, and then you had, trying to remember, but it wasn't very good. I don't know, actually. It might have been, but a lot of them got cut. Like Batman v Superman got cut, but I don't think Deadpool did, and that to me is like, okay, like how do you decide which one has the best visual effects and which one's the cut? I don't know.
Right, I was gonna say, just to put simple, like when I watched Deadpool a couple weeks ago for the second time, I had a great time. I thought it was a really fun movie again. But like when I watched Batman Superman, or even let's say Civil War, I'm looking here, like World of Warcraft, the special effects
seriously,
wipe the floor with
why did that get cut?
I
don't know.
But
well, look, it's politics. It's Disney. Or no, who makes Deadpool? Who
Fox.
Fox. But Disney does have Doctor Strange and Captain America, and those two stayed in the running too.
That's true. Yeah.
Captain America have also amazing special effects, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it was like
it's pretty middle of the road. Yeah. Like especially there's a scene where Black Panther's chasing Bucky and Cap through the highway, and it's like it looked very reminiscent of like Daredevil, Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I'm like, ugh. Like clearly CGI people when the draw distance is bad. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I thought I heard some Evanescence in the background of that.
Wake me up.
No, the
I was
worst,
gonna say though, but it seems like they're pushing Deadpool to not just get like costume or visual effects. They like want Best Picture. It seems like.
Yeah,
like,
they're pushing
Which is
it.
ridiculous.
which to me seems ridiculous. I don't know why Gods of Egypt is up.
But
for it.
guys, it subverts tropes about superheroes, and it's so intellectual.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Completely bullshit.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's middle of the road boy humor. It's not. It's really not anything more than that, and it would be a disservice to serious filmmakers, and that's me being pretentious, and I don't give a fuck that if that gets nominated over other really far superior films in multiple categories.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say, like, to be completely upfront, I'm kind of happy Tim Miller left for Deadpool too, because Ryan Reynolds sounds like he wants to just do the whole thing himself. Let him. Like, if
Yeah.
he thinks he can, watch him fail. Like, there's no way Ryan Reynolds can take on all these hats and tell Tim Miller, the director, how his vision should be. It's like, dude, you're the fucking actor and the producer. Like, whatever. I know you have a say, but
Ryan Reynolds is pretty much a hack. Like, before this and this praise, all of a sudden, he was really not doing well. So, like, and Tim Miller is actually the opposite. He's somebody who's up and up. Now, he's doing Sonic the Hedgehog, and I don't think that's a good career move. But whatever.
Right. I don't either, but he could maybe make a solid movie that'll still propel him forward. Like, if he can make a good, I don't have much hope in that at all, but I could see why he's doing it.
If it's like Warcraft level, I think he'd be all right. Because
Right.
I think Warcraft was actually decent.
I do too, man. Warcraft was much better than I thought it was going to be, and
Huge
I will
success
say,
overseas.
Warcraft is probably one of the best video game movies I've ever seen.
Right.
Yes.
And
Like-
the competition isn't too hard. But
Exactly.
it is-
There's
it
not
is-
many good ones, but
Right, but it is saying something. It was one of the better ones.
Mhm.
oh, I was going to say real quick, one of my favorite movies of the year.
Oh, yeah. Your turn.
I'm going to agree with you guys for the most part. I think Arrival was my favorite movie that I saw this year. I had such a good time trying to like kind of keep up with it, but also like I loved the twist that they kind of threw in there because it really changes the way you look at that whole movie. But aside from Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge is up there for me. I honestly, Conjuring 2, I thought was a great sequel. I don't know, I loved it, but and Swiss Army Man. I really liked Swiss Army Man a lot. I thought it visually was like a really nice movie to look at. Story-wise, it was so out of left field, and then the sound and the way they incorporated music, like diegetically, was a really unique experience. But yeah, so I mean, those were kind of my favorites, I think, of the year as far as like favorite movie. I had some great experiences though too with like Don't Breathe. I also enjoyed Batman Superman. I also enjoyed Tim, I got your back on this one. I liked 13 Hours a lot. I rented that movie and I thought that was one of Michael Bay's better movies in a long time.
It's a banging movie. It's also like, I mean, it just goes to show he needs to flex his muscles again and do like when he took a break from doing Transformers and did Pain and Gain, everyone loved it. He needs to do more non-Transformers stuff because dude, 13 Hours is like a solid war film. Beautiful special effects too. I mean, it's not going to get nominated, but the action is just top notch.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, go ahead.
Gotta throw some love for 10 Cloverfield Lane. John Goodman was fantastic in that movie. And Green Room, we kind of talked about before the start.
Yeah.
Great movie. And my last one is Hunt for the Wilder People, which is by the dude who's going to be doing the new Thor movie, I believe. Watiti or whatever his name is. It was a small release, an indie film. It has Sam Neill in it, and it's on Netflix right now, and it's really fucking good. It's a really well-contained film, and it's all shot in New Zealand, I believe, and stuff where he's from. And it's the same dude who did What We Do in the Shadows, which is a hilarious film. So I checked that one out, too.
Really, we never mentioned Popstar. That was an underrated comedy of the year.
I heard people like that.
That's a fun one. It's funny.
And then also The Shallows. I think that's one of the coolest, harmless movies that came out that surprised everyone, and it looks amazing on Blu-ray. Holy shit!
A couple here that haven't been mentioned yet that's made my top 10 or like I considered for it. Patriots, which I just saw recently, and that movie. Wow, that's a great movie. Unless you got here, I was going to mention Pop Star Ticket. Zootopia. I love Zootopia. I think that was the best American animated film of the year. And what else I got? Oh, one that hasn't been mentioned yet that made my top 10, and that is a movie that I will never see again, but I recommend everybody watch it, and that is Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah,
It's in my top 10 as well.
That movie is it emotionally kicked me in the balls multiple times.
Yeah, and they did a great job with it being, I mean, it feels very grounded and natural, and I really appreciate that. It doesn't seem like actors are acting everything out. There's a lot of responses that just felt like, wow, that's something you would see in everyday life that you don't really see a whole lot of on screen. Yeah, it was a good movie.
The music, too, is really good. I think it wasn't like a score. It was like songs they like picked for the movie, but it was just perfect.
It was so good. Casey Affleck better win for Best Actor. He was key, man. He was so good in that movie. Michelle Williams, I think she'll get a nod, but I don't think she was in it enough to win. But I could be wrong.
Agreed.
She wasn't in it all that much though. But it was the most real drama I think I've seen film in years. Like it's a while. It was really, really great. My only issue with it is actually involves the music and not the music itself, is that there's certain scenes that I don't think require music at all.
But they put it in.
Yeah, and they put it in, and there's a specific scene of Casey Affleck in a police station. And he's trying to
I thought the music worked in that, but that's just me.
I couldn't even understand what Casey Affleck was saying because the music
that's a bad mix.
Well,
or they could have just tweaked it a little bit to clean it up a bit, you know.
Besides that, I definitely recommend Manchester by the Sea. It's depressing hell, but definitely worth a watch.
I want to throw in some love for The Nice Guys.
Yeah,
I still gotta see that.
It's good. That's in my top 10 as well.
I watched it a couple times because you'll pick up stuff the second time.
Yeah, I just watched it again recently. So good.
I was gonna say real quick too. This is my little section. You guys don't have to participate if you don't want, but I want to talk about favorite Nicolas Cage performance or film of the year. If you have one, if you saw any at all, if you didn't, that's okay. If anyone wants to start, they're welcome to. I'll let you guys.
He has like a movie every week, right? He just every week.
Yeah, 52 a year. Yep.
I have not seen a movie with Nicolas Cage in it. Matt, you and I were gonna watch the one, but you fell asleep because we were gonna double feature those two movies that we never did. So I
saw a good one. I saw a good one. He was in Snowden, and he was actually really good in Snowden. He plays Hank Forrester, who's like, I don't know, he's like a hacker dude, but he's kind of like the old uncle hacker dude that's not with the rest of them, and he's kind of like he's wearing a wife beater and t-shirt, like he's just by himself. He's kind of the crazy old guy that, you know, whatever. But like he was good in it, and I actually think he did really well in the role because it is an Oliver Stone film, so it's a little over the top and corny, so he kind of fit in.
Yeah. That's cool.
I thought he was really good in La La Land. I loved his monologue.
He's in La La Land?
Yeah, dude, he's awesome.
He's like the third character in La La Land. Like
oh man, now I gotta see this thing.
He's a love triangle.
Really good guitar.
Oh god.
He tries to go for Emma Stone because, like, who wouldn't? And it just doesn't go well for him.
Oh man, poor Nick.
I saw 3, I think, from him this year. I think he probably had 6 or 7 come out though. But I saw The Trust with him and Elijah Wood. I saw Army of One with him, Russell Brand, and a couple other people. And then I told you guys I just watched Dog Eat Dog by Paul Schrader with Willem Dafoe and Nicolas Cage.
Oh, that looks good.
It's a weird movie, man. It's a weird movie. It was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it a lot. It was very entertaining and kind of funny. I don't know much about visuals of films. I don't really know a lot about cameras or lighting and stuff, but I was really impressed by the lighting in it. I thought it had a lot of great color, like the color palette or whatever they were going for. It had a very original look to it. And Willem Dafoe is like, he almost like outdoes Nicolas Cage in it. Like
In terms of
it's pretty wild. But honestly, if I were to say my favorite movie with him this year was it was Army of One. I would say if you get to check any of them out, check that one out because it's a true story comedy about Gary Faulkner, a man from Colorado who went 11 times to Pakistan to hunt for Osama bin Laden. Nicolas Cage plays this guy, and it is so entertaining.
That sounds awesome.
And he goes there with a samurai sword, and it's just, he does this voice. It's like this nasally, like, kind of voice, and
he's dead serious about killing.
Oh,
Osama
and the dude, like, he tells everybody, they're like, oh, what are you traveling to the Middle East for? He's like, oh, well, we can't take him down, so I'm gonna go there for justice and stuff because God told me to. And it's just like, it's just so
good.
It's funny. It's funny.
Which one him making God? Didn't he make Left Behind like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
That's a hard one to get through.
Yeah. That one's not even terribly bad. Like The Wicker Man, it's just bad.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Baby Driver, Edgar Wright's new movie. Ansel Elgort, Jamie Foxx, John Hamm, Kevin Spacey. Very much looking like kind of like a thriller type thing in the vein of a lot of cool 70s kind of thriller crime films. So it looks really good. I love Edgar Wright. He got kind of fucked over with Ant-Man that he spent so much time in, so it's been a while since we've seen a movie from him, so I'm looking forward to that quite a bit.
Everybody knows I'm looking forward. I mean, Star Wars, we don't have to talk about that. Everybody, that's like mutually agreed that everybody like is excited. Dunkirk, Spider-Man Homecoming, Logan is one that I'm looking forward to immensely. And the trailer for Logan, I think, is like one of the best trailers of the year. No, like in year. It absolutely is the best trailer of 2016. Every time I watch it, I get the chills, and it looks like The Last of Us, the movie that I'll never get. And it's I can't wait to see Logan, man. Looking forward to it. And the rest is, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just reading off my list. Kingsman, Secret Circle. I can't wait for that. Justice League, War of the Planet of the Apes, Wonder Woman, and Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, Blade Runner. It's gonna be good.
It's Denis Villeneuve. Like I haven't, to be honest, I haven't even seen the original Blade Runner. But after seeing Arrival, Denis Villeneuve is in that category for me. Where if his name is attached to a project, I'm in. What is it about?
Yeah,
it's making. He's in it. He's directing it. It's making my top 10. Some honorable mentions. I'm looking forward to Split next week. I heard Split was really good. John Wick 2, Lego Batman, dude, that trailer cracks me up every time I watch it. Ghost in the Shell, Alien Covenant looks sick. A movie with Tom Hanks and Emma Watson called The Circle. I don't know if you guys see this. I don't have high hopes for it, but in my heart, I want it to be good, and that is Power Rangers. Like, I understand like nobody else is looking forward to that, but in my heart, I want that to be good so bad.
Yo,
Tim, what about you?
Life's coming out, guys. Don't sleep on life.
Life has I'm interested in life, but it also could be like a throwaway space adventure, but it could be great.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the trailer was really good, so I'm intrigued in life.
I really look forward to Alien Covenant, Justice League. And then, of course, John Wick 2, The Dark Tower. I've read the first 3 books, and I really enjoyed them. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm really looking forward to Valerian, just because he's just a killer director, and this looks like a fun fucking time. And then also Ghost in the Shell, because I really liked Lucy as well, and I think Scarlett Johansson's becoming a really great action person now that she's done Black Widow, stuff like that. So and then Fast and Furious could be fun, and I didn't even know they were doing another Saw movie, so that sounds kind of cool.
They are? Wow, I didn't know that either.
And King Arthur, another guy who did Man from Uncle.
Guy
What's
Ritchie.
the guy's name? Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks fun.
Guy Ritchie, Charlie Hunnam.
Dang, I think that would look really bad, but that's just me. I don't like.
I love Guy Ritchie.
I'm not a big fan of Charlie Hunnam.
Hyped for Star Wars Episode 8, even though we know virtually nothing about it. I just want to see what the hell happens,
That's what
especially with that ending in Episode 7.
That's what excites me.
Um,
But I know nothing about it.
Oh, because yeah, no, I know, and I hope they keep it kind of discreet, kind of like the marketing was for Episode 7. I'm also really looking forward. I mean, you guys literally rattled off like pretty much everything, but I'm really looking forward to Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins. I think it's going to be a labor of love because I know, like, I've been following that she's really invested in the character in the movie, and I know there's been a few female directors that directed a couple comic book movies, but nothing to this caliber. And I think it's kind of huge that comic book movie that's a female. I don't know if ever, but in a long time.
I think ever. Like I've actually thought about that.
I'm looking forward to that, and pretty much everything else you guys have mentioned.
Wow. Well, how do I follow all these picks, man? It's I'm looking here right now. I'm looking forward. It comes out the day after tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the Slipknot fan film.
The 9th member.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Triple X Return of Xander Cage. That's coming out in about a week, 5 days.
Yep. Give us your real picks.
All right. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions. It's 2 hours long. It's got an 8.2 on IMDb right now. Just saying.
Oh, man.
I'm also looking forward to Bitch. Look it up. It's on IMDb. It's coming out soon.
I gotta look this up.
Yep. Kung Fu Yoga, January 27th. It's dude, Jackie Chan is in that one. All right, real though.
Market this.
Well, real quick, one more funny one. There's a movie coming out called Dark Knight. But it's not like, you know, it's
not
actually
the Dark Knight.
it's probably actually really sad. It looks like.
I saw that.
No, but I pretty much what you guys said. I'm
Trailer
really
for that.
excited for. I mean, there's so much cool stuff. I think that there's to look forward to. Hopefully, we're not let down by a lot of it. But you know, Ghost in the Shell surprised me. I don't know a whole lot about that, but I thought the trailer looked kind of cool for it. And then yeah, like I'll go see all the Marvel movies and keep that machine rolling. I'm sure, unfortunately, but. No, it's cool. I hope they're good though. I don't want their quality to keep going down because honestly, I feel like Doctor Strange. I feel like was like the beginning of the end of like they were going up for a while with like these cool movies that were surprising a lot of people, and then I feel like they're kind of starting to misstep a little bit. Warner Brothers. I want Warner Brothers to stop intervening with the filmmakers that they're hiring for a reason.
Right,
you know, it's like
their job.
you don't hire David Ayer for a reason to make a movie and then only give him 6 weeks or whatever to write a script. It's like, you know, and then cut out half the movie. It seems like. So I want all those movies to be cool. I want them to be fun, but I don't want them to be all screwed up because of studios and whatever. So
Like.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Johnson's pitch to Black Adam was so fucking lame. It was literally like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to have fun making Black Adam. It's going to be fun. And I'm like, that's not what made Batman.
The Rock, though, too. Like, that's just how that guy talks and everything.
I don't know. But there's a lot of rumors about DC wanting to make the movies more light tone. And I'm like, that's not why people dislike Batman v Superman. Dumbasses. That's probably the reason why they thought it was bad, but it's that fix your, like, lock down your scripts, make a good story, and there you work off that. The tone doesn't matter. Like the thing was with Batman Superman, I thought the story itself was fine. It just wasn't a story that you can compress and take a bunch of scenes out and let breathe, because that movie didn't breathe at all when I went to see it in the theaters. It felt like
really like, here we are, now we're here, now we're here, now we're there, now we're here, now we're here. And it was like, okay, I'm keeping up, but it's also like really disjointed. And then when I watched the other version, there was like a half-hour extra of like dialogue and stuff, like not just action. It was like mostly dialogue was taken out. And I'm like, why did they take all that stuff out? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, yeah, like I watched the extended cut to Batman v Superman. I was blown away of how much the studio interfered with that movie. I was that made us, to me, in the theatrical version, a useless story with the Lois Lane. Her entire thing could have been literally cut out the entire theatrical movie.
Right. On the one hand, I understand why the studio did it, because putting a 3-hour rated R movie into theaters is not going to make them money. So I get why they did that. However, it suffered because of quality's sake, and it probably would have made the same amount of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like they've learned. You know, I have a good feeling about Wonder Woman from everything I've been following, especially with Patty Jenkins, and we'll see. I mean, this will be the year.
This could be the year. I honestly think, and this not just even for me personally, because I honestly think Wonder Woman could be the best DC movie ever. Like, I truly think it has that potential of the new universe anyway. But I think if Wonder Woman and Justice League, not financially, but I think if they audience-wise and critically, they are just okay, just like Suicide Squad and BVS, I think DC is going to be – I think they're going to make a big change. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what the movie is.
I would argue no, because like look at Transformers. Like we're 5 movies in, they've all received poor reviews, and audiences generally tend to hate it. And they did one soft reboot, and they're still chugging along. You know, so like I don't know.
Well,
like we'll see what happens.
Well, Transformers doesn't have anything to compete with really. DC is like, whether they admit to it or not, they're trying their hardest to compete with Marvel.
I don't know.
Power Rangers could be what sets, is the competition, because they have Megazords and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I think that and if done right, also Pacific Rim 2 should fucking come out soon. We need more combat against Transformers, because I gotta admit, The Last Night looks good, but it didn't offer up anything new, and I think it may be time to kind of stop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I like those movies, it's kind of like it's the same thing.
You just made Michael Bay. We're like, whoa.
Hey, whoa, my favorite fan is
His ears are uncontrollably. It's like
make it stop. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like you were saying, this will be the year where we'll see what happens. I think they'll keep chugging along, DC that is, even if they get bad reviews.
Bring this guy into the fold. Bring him into the fold, and you got me.
He's coming, dude. He's coming.
Yeah.
We'll just let's just close this quote unquote episode out. You guys give a little sign out and just like where people can find you, like a plug, and that'll be it.
Yeah, whoever wants to start is welcome to.
My name is Jordan Miller, and you can find me at YouTube. My name is Jordan. My channel name is Jordan Miller. I'm the most inconsistent YouTuber ever. I will make like 2 videos a week, and then I will take like a 3-month break. But hey, check it out. I'm kind of funny sometimes.
He's always funny, dude. You're always funny, man.
And if you want to follow me on Letterboxd, at jmills1595. Letterboxd is the best social media outlet ever. I'm like addicted to that website. So if you want to really keep in touch with me, Letterboxd is the best place to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, my name's Tyrell Listen. I don't YouTube as much anymore, but I like hanging out with everybody still. You can find me on Twitter, Tyrell Listen, TYRELLLISSON. Letterboxd is great for hitting me up, see what I'm looking at in the movies. That's letterboxd.com/Tyrell. And yeah, you can check me out on IMDb, man, and find links to some of my films and when they're coming out and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing. And thanks for setting this up, Matt and John. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming,
great,
man. Thank you, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, I missed you guys. This is really fun. Like, I'm really, really glad we got to do this. You guys can find me on the late reviews. I'm not really sure what's going on with my channel. I'm trying to figure out quick reviews because it's easy for me. It's fun for you guys to watch. I hope it is. and if it's not, it better be. And you guys can. I'm always every movie I watch, I log on Letterboxd. You guys can check out. I just reviewed Twilight. I know you're dying to see that. Gave it a nice 2-star rating. So
I'm excited.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me. It's real fun.
Well, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, thanks guys. We'll try to keep this like a cool regular podcast.
Thanks for coming by. We hope to do this again for another event or a type of movie that's coming out that we're all looking to talk about. That would be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for coming on. I'm happy that you guys talked to me. That was a really cool way to spend the evening. And let's do this again soon. That'll be a lot of fun.
For sure.
For sure.
All right, thank you. You too.
Have a great summer.
Have a great summer.